Hello, welcome back to our show. There are three of us because I'm an idiot who forgot to hit the record button yesterday. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Demetrius, for being here. Really appreciate the time that you're giving me here. So, Mike, the topic for you, sir, is of course the Yankees. And since we're
Yes.
reshooting, you've got a whole new day's worth of Yankee crap to sift through, from the Odor trade to the bases loaded, three strikeouts in a row. What do
Yep.
you got for us, Mike?
Where do you start, right? I mean, thank goodness we're winning right now, 3-0. But again, that's the Baltimore Orioles. The birds are chirping. Okay, whoa, whoa. Just thinking about the Yankees, this really comes down to one specific thing for me. I'm not concerned overly of what I'm seeing because we got that 3-5 victory after Stanton and Judge couldn't hit a damn thing, went a combined 0 for 10 within our opener, and then we bounced back. We got the 7-0 win yesterday and then got the 3-0 lead right now. I'm not necessarily going to focus on Aaron Judge, who's been a very big point of criticism for Yankees fans, deservedly so. Same thing with Gary Sanchez, right? I'm not going to go too hard on him because Gary Sanchez definitely knows he needs to get his act together too. We're going to go for the man by the name of Giancarlo Stanton. And you see I got my Yankees gear on. I'm a diehard Yankees fan, okay? Here's what it boils down to, right? I understand, you were the former MVP, hitting around 280, over 50 home runs, 125 RBIs or more, quite honestly, over 125 RBIs. I get the fact that you were a former MVP. Previously, you came into the league as Mike Stanton. All of a sudden now you want to be called Giancarlo Stanton. You're a little bit sensitive. I get it. My brother, get it together. Get it together, okay? This brother within the first two games, all right, went 0 for 8 in 8 plate appearances. That is not what we need from a guy who's making $325 million over 13 games. I don't care what anybody says to me, all right? When it comes to Giancarlo Stanton, when you pull up his stats over the years, obviously he's been impacted by injuries. Obviously, that's a main factor. We don't with health aside. This brother is batting .83. Okay, .83. No, not 380. Not 283. Not 183. 083. 4 RBIs, 2 runs. Last year, in 78 games, he batted .250 with 11 RBIs. The year before that, which was his second year, was obviously cut short by injuries. This guy has not had a solid season with the New York Yankees since 2018. So let's just call it like that. We're going to have to start looking at ourselves and looking at this team and saying, what is it that Giancarlo Stanton is bringing us in terms of value? Because as far as I'm concerned, he not only has not lived up to the contract, I think that there's a case to be made that he has been the worst acquisition that we have had since maybe Jacoby Ellsbury. I'm going to go that far. I think that he might be the worst acquisition. Let me repeat it again. The worst acquisition that New York Yankees have signed since Jacoby Ellsbury. And y'all know what that contract was like and what that performance, that output was like. So that's what I'm going to sum it up to. I think that when it comes down to it, he does have a chance to get it together, like I said so eloquently just a moment ago. But it's really going to rest on the shoulders of what we call them Bronx Bombers, or what's supposed to be them Bronx Bombers. Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, but I'm looking at the man who's making well over $30 million a year. When is the last time that we've actually called the Yankees the Bronx Bombers? Probably hasn't happened since 2009, y'all.
Well, I'm going to join you in my frustration with Giancarlo Stanton's performance. And in a follow-up to that frustration, do you see him getting traded in the next, let's say, 3 years?
You know something? I got to say yes. New York isn't going to stand for this. You know what happens on both the Yankees and the Mets. Not just in terms of the fans, but also the press. When superstars or supposed to be superstars don't perform, people are going to stop giving Giancarlo Stanton a pass real quick if he does not hit and not perform up to his standards. The level that we're not even asking for the MVP caliber player. We're asking for some part of that. If you could be half of that, you could be a serviceable player on the New York Yankees. Now, I think that concerns around moving him, it's going to be difficult because of that contract. They're going to have to eat some money. If he doesn't perform, I don't see him on the Yankees past this season. That's an outlandish claim. I'm going to say if Giancarlo does not perform up to expectations, that being at least a 250 batting average, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, he's gone.
Speaking of they have to eat his money, the Rangers just ate an entire contract and gave Rougned Odor to the Yankees today for 2 low-level prospects. And Tyro Estrada was designated for assignment. I've never been a fan of Rougned Odor. I've never been a fan of his. I didn't think he was that good as a second baseman. I think he's overhyped. I didn't understand why he was on the Rangers roster to begin with. And that's saying something because the Rangers are bad. So, Mike, please explain to me why would the Yankees trade for him? And please don't give me lefty bat because you don't need a lefty bat that bad.
Well, I mean, they need a slugger. He knows how to slug, right? Jose Bautista.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. Man. On that point, though, well, I mean,
not a boxing team, Mike, so it doesn't get him anywhere.
It's not Deontay Wilder he's facing, right? Exactly. No, I mean, I think that this is a move just to solidify the midfield, right? We really haven't, outside of DJ LeMahieu, had that consistent force within the midfield at either shortstop or second base since really Didi Gregorius and obviously the great Derek Jeter. And so when you look at that, I think that it's honestly just a depth ploy. I don't see him factoring in within the rotation or the starting lineup in a heavy way. Odor is one of those guys that's solid. You know what I'm saying? Batted .237 over his career, has solid defense, 146 home runs career total, just under 500 RBIs. So he's not a scrub. You know what I'm saying? He's not a scrub when you're putting in 458 RBIs over the last 6 years that you've been playing, 6 to 7 years. For me, I don't hate the move. That's all it is for me, just a depth play.
Well, my personal view, I've not really a fan of Odor, and also from a fantasy perspective, I'm not a fan of Odor. My issue with this move is you're getting him from the Rangers, and the Rangers offer to pay his entire remaining salary. What kind of this is completely rhetorical. What kind of value could you possibly be getting if the Rangers of all teams are offering to pay him to play against them?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right.
I don't see why they would even waste. I mean, 2 low-level prospects, I guess it's okay, but why even waste that? Why bother? It's not for what he's given or what he could give you. I know he's a free player, but you could just grab somebody from single A ball and throw him in the depth. At depth, you'd probably get maybe a 240 batting average, which would be 3 points better.
Well, yeah, and I think that this is obviously a depth, not a move, not only to solidify the depth, but also it's a risk that comes with it, right? This is a guy that batted $167 in the shortened season.
Yeah,
$167. That's disgusting. I mean, that's Giancarlo Stanton territory at this point. But anyways, on the flip side of that, the 10 home runs and the 30 RBIs make you realize that something is still there. The thing we got to remember about with Odor, he's only 27, right? He's only 27. And so it's not like he's at the tail end of his career. He could have a bounce back season when it comes to this year. And I think that playing for the Rangers is a completely different ballgame than playing for the Yankees, because obviously the Rangers haven't been in contention for quite some time since the Ron Washington days. And so when you're playing for a contender, there's a bit more that comes with that. It's just like Blake Griffin in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing around guys that want to win championships and instead of tank games.
I can understand that. Plus, you have him playing half the games at home, and the lefty swing in short and right field would probably boost his numbers a little bit. So I can understand that. I just don't agree with it. I just don't. That's just.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. It's not a safe bet by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all. It's like if you needed a first baseman who hit for power, and your decision was, okay, let's go re-sign Carlos Pena.
Right.
I love him. Great power. I don't want him swinging a bat because he strikes out more than anything else.
Right. Mark Reynolds syndrome.
Demetrius, you had something you wanted to say? I saw your hand go up.
Yeah. This is like the antithesis version of the A-Rod trade.
I did want to ask you, Mike, because of the group chat, the group text that we're in, when I think it was Teddy who said this was a year that Aaron Judge needs to prove himself. Briefly, agree or disagree, and why?
I agree because I think that Aaron Judge hasn't gotten paid yet. Last year, you bat 257. The year before that, you bat 272. But 2018 and 2017 will really win your golden years as a potential bona fide superstar, the face of the Yankees. That's the last time that was a possibility. And so when it comes down to this year, you think about all of the expectations that are on the Yankees. As we've talked about, they better win the AL East, okay, at the very minimum. And I have them getting to the World Series. Aaron Judge is going to be a part of that. These big home run hitters, you don't know what you're going to get. And so for me, it's definitely a make it or break it season for Aaron Judge.
Shout out to the Colorado Rockies for having DJ LeMahieu, Trevor Story, and Nolan Arenado and Charlie Blackmon and doing absolutely nothing. Well done, guys. That will do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow with Demetrius, who gets to talk about the Mets. And look at how happy he is.
Ooh. We still Yankees, though. Bye.